You know, when you come to a new track, you've got to learn the layout, and cameras and data acquisition help that. And the guys at Team MER let us go behind the scenes and sit in on one of their team meetings.
All right, guys, so coming down the front straight, remember turn 1, it's downhill, and it's really tricky here. You got to be smooth with the brake. Don't go too early on the power. It's nice and patient. He's using all the road there.
We're really lucky to have Eric Foss as a resource. He's been a long-time instructor here for numerous driving schools. So he kind of led us through the different types of corners. Based on our experience at other tracks, we kind of know what setup, you know, those types of corners like. So we put a setup on the cars, you know, based on his information. And they actually came off the trailer really good.
If you're rolling on the brake there, just like a little bit in fourth with the pops, in fifth, you can almost get away with just blipping the downshift and just...
What happens is when we get in there, I look at who the quickest drivers were, and the first thing we do is review the video, see who is the fastest, what they're doing on the track, kind of critique it a little bit. We have a little fun in there. Sometimes we're riving it up, but once we do that, then we get into the actual graphical data. We can see exactly what the driver's doing, when they're braking, when they're getting back on the throttle, and really just how they're driving the car in general, and we can just look at the strengths of each driver and try and combine it. In theory, it's one of those things when you look at the data, you could always find if you combine 3 or 4 drivers, they might have a lap that be on pole by a second, so it's some good incentive, but at the same time it shows the drivers what they really need to work on.
Wow, Elliot, this thing has gotten so sophisticated in the last many years. The data acquisition, the information, it's not the seat of the pants anymore, is it?
No, it's not, and it really helps a lot, especially when you have multi-car teams, because you can take the fast guys and show the slower people where they're losing time, how much speed they need to carry through corners, when they need to brake, and you can really pinpoint, because sometimes where you feel you're slow is not the place you're slow. Looks like Todd Lamb is stretching his lead out even more, and Piscatel's still staying with Mark Miller, but the race for second's good, but the race for the lead is not as good as it was earlier.
Absolutely. Good battling up front to really here for second spot. Lamb continuing to add to the lead. Justin Piscatel in the yellow machine, trimmed in blue, the 89 car, the DAMG entry, trying hard to track down Mark Miller. Now, Miller was part of that piece you saw a moment ago. He was the engineer on that team previously, gets the chance to drive this year, doing a great job behind the wheel. To have that kind of resource, to have Eric Foss, to have Jason Saney working with those young drivers, what a great help.
It is, because they've won the last 2 championships, and not only that, they've moved on and got the chance to run in the World Challenge, and they're the top guys in the series too. They're winning races, running up front, putting cars on poles up there, so it shows that the talent that shows up in the MX-5 Cup is really stays. It's actually real. I mean, it's not like you say, oh, it's a little tiny class and it doesn't matter. They're moved on and they're still the top guys.
Yeah, these are serious race cars. I mean, these cars knock off very good lap times at most venues. And any kind of series like this where the technology is somewhat limited, the competition is tightly bunched, generally speaking. So to me, if you're winning in this kind of racing, if you're dominant in this kind of racing, that says a lot about your abilities as a driver. The car's not going to do it for you. You've got to find it within yourself.
No, it's true. I mean, you still have to have a good car, well-prepared car, but the cars are so equal that it's just a little setup here and there. But the driver is still the one who has to set up the car and drive it correctly to win these races. And that is shown with the guys who have got out of this class into the next step and been very competitive there, if not the top of the deal.
So these Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup machines, very, very quick and a great training ground, certainly. Meantime, a leader starting to lap some slower traffic. And Todd Lamb in the 84, the Lunacy car, the blue and silver entry from Atlanta Motorsports Group, continuing to add to his lead here. I mean, it's unbelievable. There's Miller's second place machine, Justin Piscatel in third, about 6 car lengths. Look at the distance Lamb has opened up now in the battle for second.
Yeah, and you know, they're getting caught in this traffic too, because they cannot pass this person, even though they came up on him. Now Mark Miller is stuck behind this person all the way through turn 2, because you can't go to the outside, which will allow Piscatel to close back up.
I believe that's Susan Crone in the 55 car who's just gone a lap down. Fans enjoying the show here at Barber Motorsports Park. Right back with more of the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup.